and it's my honor to introduce our valedictorian, Daniel Michelson, and Shaiba, our salutatorian. So, Dan, as you begin to walk up, I will make the introductions. Mr. Michelson is a 2013 National Merit Scholarship winner and served as the editor-in-chief of the student newspaper. A footnote, he also had an article in the June issue of the paper talking about, from his freshman year, how people really wouldn't read the paper. But obviously he has motivated at least one here to read the paper and be very enthralled by it. So I thank you for that. He was also the vice president of Radnor Model United Nations Club. He has lettered 4 times as a defenseman for the ice hockey team and also played doubles for the varsity tennis team over the past 2 years. Mr. Michelson has served as treasurer for the Radnor Society for Childhood Cancer Awareness, helping raise more than $8,000 to fund childhood cancer. As a junior, he received the Harvard Book Award, the Rensselaer Medal for Outstanding Achievement in Math and Science. Mr. Michelson will attend Yale University in the fall and hopes to pursue a career in medicine. I will now introduce Ms. Rather. Is a 2013 National Merit Scholarship finalist and a varsity volleyball athlete who served as a Radnor's middle hitter since her freshman year. Having played the double bass since elementary school, Ms. Rather attended both district and regional festivals for band as well as orchestra. And I don't believe I've ever heard anyone have both honors. So. And was a member of the school's honors jazz band. As a vice president of Radnor's Model United Nations Club, Ms. Rather was provided various opportunities to explore her interest in international relations and public speaking. She has been an active member of student council since her freshman year and is the senior class president. Ms. Rather will attend Harvard University in the fall. Congratulations to these fine students and to each and every one of you. You will be missed. Dan?
All right, so first I guess I have to thank Dr. Costello for that Radnor 8 shout out. It's nice to hear that people do read the paper. All right. So, as some of you may know, there are actually 2 Daniel Michelsons in the Radnor High School class of 2013. There's lacrosse superstar Danny Michelson Michelson, and then there's Asian Jewish Daniel Michelson. That'd be me. Living alongside my twin, as we call one another, for the last 7 years has been an interesting experience, certainly for me at least, and I'm fairly sure for him as well. Last year, for instance, I almost had a heart attack when I got my schedule and I wasn't actually signed up for any of the classes I had requested. And let me make it clear once and for all that no, my mother is not on the school board. That would be Susan Michelson, the other Danny Michelson's mother. But despite all the confusion, I can assure you that we are indeed 2 different people. And although there have definitely been some drawbacks to going to school with someone with the same name as me for the past 7 years, one huge benefit I've derived from the whole thing has been a drive to figure out who I am, to create my own identity. When I came to Radnor in the 6th grade, people called me the other Dan Michelson, which kind of bugged me. Like, why did I have to be the other one, right? And so to rectify the situation, I've tried to earn my own distinctions, and I think, at least academically, that's what's worked for me. Now I'm not the other Dan Michelson, I'm the nerdy Dan Michelson. But you know, I'll take it. And so while part of high school has been about figuring out how to fit in, these last 7 years alongside my twin have also been about discovering how to stand out. And while not everyone has to deal with a nominative twin, high school in general is a time when we all struggle with that contradiction, with being part of a community, but also with finding ways to distinguish ourselves. But now, the real world, at least in some sense, is upon us. It's kind of alarming to read everyone's tweets and Facebook posts about the last day of high school, to go to a different graduation party every day, and to realize that our time in high school is already done. That next year, we'll all be in different places, doing different things, and that in the not too distant future, we'll no longer be growing up, we'll be grown-ups. That's a scary thing, and as we begin to confront our impending adulthoods, we once again have to struggle, as we did in high school, with the question of how to fit in and how to stand out. But at the end of my sophomore year, my English teacher, Mr. Neary, offered some advice that's helped me in finding an answer. No matter what life demands, he told me, hold on to your sense of idealism, your dreams. That's what's going to enable you to leave your mark on the world. And that, I think, is the right way to approach growing up. Yes, the realities of adult life are creeping towards us. Next year, most of us will be living by ourselves, and pretty soon, we'll all have to pay rent and buy groceries and file taxes and do all the hundreds of other little banalities that go along with adulthood. But this down-to-earth pragmatism, as I learned from Mr. Neary, shouldn't keep us from reaching for our dreams. One of my friends was telling me a little while ago about how, when he was little, he wanted to be an astronaut. But as he grew up, he learned about the rigorous physical requirements, and given his below-average eyesight, he had to reevaluate that dream. So he decided instead to become an engineer, working on the rockets and spacecraft that get the astronauts into space. And to me, that sort of resolve really embodies the idea that there's a place for each of us, a place where we can both fit in and stand out, a place where we can not only dream, but also live out our dreams. We have all the tools we need to achieve those dreams. For that, I'd like to thank Mr. Skellinger, all the administrators, the teachers, the school staff, all the parents, the siblings, the grandparents, and everyone else who has played a part in bringing us to where we are today. And now, as we move forward into this next stage of our lives, as we prepare to put those tools to use, I urge you all to find and embrace your place, that place where you both fit in and stand out. That place where you can take your childhood dreams and work them into reality. Thank you all, and congratulations, Radnor High School class of 2013.
When asked to give a speech at graduation, I received some of the usual advice. Give a Gandhi quote. Acknowledge the past, but expose the future. Channel the energy of Will Ferrell. Be Will Ferrell. Create a satire of your experiences, but don't insult anyone. That's why, when challenged with the daunting task of addressing the class of 2013, I just smiled, said yes, and acted as if it all made sense. How do I describe a class that's defied all boundaries? One that surpassed all expectations, and one that created a community of belonging and oneness. How do I, a peer, create a speech that embodies a class that teachers frequently describe as one with infinite possibilities? Infinity exists merely as a concept in math. It first appeared as the sideways 8 in our younger years, and now haunts us as something much more difficult to grasp. Infinity is abstract. It verges on nonsensical. Something larger than life. Infinity is a place you can never get to, you can never reach. In Stephen Chbosky's Perks of Being a Wallflower, Charlie, a high schooler very much like ourselves, tackles his evolving world saying, "Right now, we are alive, and in this moment, I swear, we are infinite." Charlie acknowledges moments in life as timeless, as forces to be reckoned with. But I ask you, how can people like Charlie describe some of the most quintessential moments as an indefinite idea that mathematics tells us does not exist? I may identify myself as a math person, but I would be a fool not to acknowledge its flaws. Sorry, Mr. McBride. Math fails to account for people, for the inherent human nature that allows us to feel and act the way we do. Although it infiltrates our classes as something beyond comprehension, infinity lives in not only ourselves, but in each other. The feeling of infinity that Charlie describes thrives in Radnor, and more specifically, in our class. Infinity is when I fell off the mechanical shark after 9 seconds in post-prom. Or when Matt Pelton won his 100th match, when my brother and I started a family feud over LeBron versus Kobe, when the artwork of Sophia Demopoulos decorated the halls, when, during LM week, we believed that we would win, and we did. When my parents and I watched a live stream cricket match at 3 a.m., when Natalia Salinas wrote her final Radnorite article, when physics launched their model rockets across the Blue Route, when, as seniors, we took our final laps around the high school on the scooters of our childhood. Infinity is when we, the class of 2013, sit together to celebrate the last 4 years of our lives in anticipation of the next. Moments like these, they're freeing. They expose us to novel heights and emotions. I can't say that Infinity only lives in the class of 2013, or in Radnor for that matter. I can say, however, that over the last 4 years of high school, our class has welcomed the idea of a force much greater than ourselves. To be willing to forego the comfort of isolation for unity is a task our class has embraced. As we move on to the next chapters of our lives, seek this weightlessness. Others will incessantly tell you that because something is intangible, it does not exist. Challenge that notion. Hunt the concepts we can't grapple at first. Passion, fear, infinity. They may be hidden, hardest to find in times of despair, but they do live on. Class of 2013, we have found infinity. Class of 2013, we are infinite.